It's clear that Equestria faces diplomacy just like any other nation. Faces diplomacy. Faces diplomacy. Just like any other nation. Just like any other nation. How could we have been so blind? Hello, fillies and gentlecolts, mares and stallions. Welcome to this episode of Lionheart Speaks. I am your host, Flame Lionheart. How is everyone today? Good? I sure hope so. Because the government is in turmoil! Or, at least, it always seems like that. I can't pretend to know how people in other countries feel about their government, but here in the US, people are always complaining. It's too conservative, it's too liberal, it don't do jack, it's taking away our rights. You don't need a census to show that nobody is satisfied with the government. So here we are as bronies and pegasusers always imagining that life in Equestria would be better. But we couldn't be more wrong. We think that ponykind is the supreme race and has conquered the earth much like how mankind has, and that the princesses are the supreme power of the world. But that's only because the show portrays ponies like that. If you want my opinion, ponies are oppressed by another civilization. But who could overpower a creature as smart, inventive, and strategically powerful as ponies? Well, the only creature that is more powerful, cannot be stopped by magic, and has plagued civilizations for centuries. The dragons! You might ask yourself, what would dragons want with ponies? The answer is simple. Gems. Here's how I think the history of Drago-Equine relations began.
In the time before the princesses, and before Discord,
we had the three factions of pony, divided by race. Earth ponies were poor, the unicorns were a bit better off, and the pegasi were wealthy. Or so the pageant portrays. This seemed to be a time when ponies had no interest in compliance with, well, anyone. So this would clearly be a time when they didn't have to deal with the dragons. As such, dragons would either pillage and plunder villages for their precious metals and gems, or they would abduct ponies and force them into slavery to mine for gems. The earth ponies would be the easiest to attack. They can't use magic, so they only have brute strength to defend themselves, but not nearly enough to overcome a dragon attack. As such, they spent whatever riches they still had on rebuilding villages. Unicorns have magic, so it makes sense that they're better off than earth ponies. But according to legends retold time and time again, dragons are impervious to magic, so any offensive strike by unicorns would be futile. They could, however, use their magic to build stronger defenses than earth ponies, so they have a better chance of surviving. Plus, they can teleport. And pegasi live in the clouds. Not only does this make them harder to spot, but I don't think dragons can walk on clouds like pegasi can. I'm not entirely sure how pegasi themselves do it, but I'm gonna go with the general idea that it's because they're lighter than the other two races. Also, they can fly away really fast. All of these factors add up to pegasi being the safest from dragon attacks. Now, if all of this is correct, and there were more dragon attacks in the past, why are there so few nowadays, despite how close some live to a town like Ponyville?
well, the princesses and diplomacy and magic is sexy.
No, God!
Oh, come on, just look at it.
No, God, please, no! No!
But come on.
No!
But.
No!
Moving on. But dragons don't even respect the princesses. So what was the deal exactly? Well, I just so happen to have a copy of the Declaration right here.
From this day forth, dragonkind shall no longer impose and terrorize ponykind. In exchange, Ponykind shall mine and deliver gems and precious metals unto dragonkind, in order to maintain peace between the two species. Any disobedience to this decree shall lead to a meeting between the dragon elders and the pony royalty.
But we haven't seen ponies doing any mining. Well, all we see are the mares, and the stallions are presumably doing hard labor, according to a guy who made a video or something about it, which I can't find right now. So it could be the guys, or else there is another culture that is designated to mining for the entire pony population. A culture rich in fine jewelry and elegantly crafted metals. And if you consider gems to be a source of energy, since most people believe that gems are solidified magic, or channels for magic, or whatever, then it must also be a culture of fuel. The Griffins! Haha, no, I mean the Saddle Arabians.
But wait! No pony seems to be aware that they're being oppressed!
That's why I believe that this is a shadow war.
War? I see no war!
That's because it's a shadow war that has yet to happen! Think about it. There are new wielders of the elements. Discord, Master of Chaos, is now allied, supposedly, with the princesses. There are now 3 princesses in Equestria, minus Cadence. All of this sounds like preparation for war to me. And this sounds like any old war. A country that is abundant in a resource is oppressed by a stronger force until, inevitably, the weaker nation has had enough and rebels against the opposition. What would winning a war against dragons mean for Equestrians? Well, not only would it mean diplomatic supremacy, but also being higher up on the food chain, assuming dragons have eaten ponies in the past. It could also mean a technological boom for Equestria. With all those gems to themselves, they could potentially use them to get out of the Dark Ages and make automobiles that run on their own magic, rather than being powered by unicorns. Or else, Rarity can make a new dress? Either way, it'd be pretty sick. And what of Spike? I get the feeling that he is a test subject of sorts. A way for Twilight and the princesses to study dragons, seeing as dragon behavior is a subject of mystery to ponies. A big thanks goes out to Engineer BJ, who helped inspire today's topic. If you have something that you want me to talk about, please leave a comment below or send me a message and I'll look into it. If you have any sort of creative material that you would like for me to share, such as a fic, art, music, whatever, send me a link and maybe I'll mention it. Here we have a song from Nightshine called Downfall of the Moon. It's a sort of epic sounding tune with some synthesized orchestra. Sounds nice. Also, be sure to check out Engineer BJ's The Brony Review. I was supposed to mention it last episode but forgot. One last thing. Someone commented that they wanted me to sing again. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, the pines were roaring on the height, the winds were moaning in the night, the fire was red, its flaming spread, the trees like torches blazed with light. Well, that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time where I'll have a new thing to talk about, and you'll have to listen to my absurd theories. Until then, this is Flame Lionheart, signing off. And a Happy New Year to everyone.